Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we'll be talking about several large storms that could be coming along. I'll be talking about the pattern, what we could expect for the United States of America and southern Canada, what's pretty much the gist of the weather, and we'll be also going over temperatures where it could be very, very hot, where there could be, again, very heavy rain, and potentially even some frosts and some early snow. Before we get into this, if you guys are new to this channel, hello, welcome. Check out the channel, watch the videos. If you do perhaps enjoy them, consider subscribing, consider liking the video. And if you have any comments, concerns, regards, whatever, leave them down below. I try to get as many as possible. I think the last two videos I haven't been answering as many, but I will be trying to answer as much as I can. I am a bit busier now since I did start school, so I may not be getting to all comments, but I will be uploading videos. That is a must. Maybe one or 2 days will be absent per week, but those aren't planned, and those are just kind of if it does happen, right? So let's get into this and let's start talking about this weather. So first off, notice that we do have the European weather model, and let's start off with that. I want to show you the weather pattern it shows. Notice right there, as we see, it's push it into Tuesday. So this is, again, not far out yet. It goes all the way from really 6 to 240 hours. Obviously, it's way more accurate in the first 100, 250 hours, but it starts losing that accuracy once we start pushing it out past 200 hours. It still can sometimes pick up on a trend, and oftentimes, especially during the winter, it could pick up on a winter storm that is 200 hours out, and it maintains it and just readjusts it slightly up until it occurs. So a very, very good model. Notice what we have right now. Snow across British Columbia. Again, that's nothing new. We have been seeing this for the past really 2 to 3 weeks now, but it's been getting more expansive. It's dropping in elevation each time there's a rain system, and it has been pretty cool. And I do want to say that there are some frost advisories for a good portion of Montana, northwestern Montana, into tonight. So if you have any vegetation, if you live across northwestern Montana, yeah, it could get down up to 34 degrees. So definitely chilly. A sign of winter, or sorry, fall. The season's changing. So notice what we do have tomorrow: a large system, really nothing too organized, but it definitely does have showers and storms for the Dakotas. It kind of slides through, and look at that, what we start seeing across the Great Lakes, some storms firing up, and again, it looks as if it dies down, right? But during the daytime hours, boom, it fires up again. And this right there is kind of like the cold front of this system, but it starts getting picked up by a kind of like a second system, as you will see in just a second. But look at these little bow echoes, and notice, right, this one is kind of branched towards the south and east, or sorry, south and west. This one's more towards the south and east, so they will be generally moving towards the east, but again, some of them will be a bit misdirectioned, or just kind of a little bit going the random way. So again, that's why they're hard to predict. It's not going to be a classic just large system like we saw last week, where really a lot of it is predictable. Some of this is not even 12 hours in advance predictable, let alone 70 or 80 hours. But I do want to say that's, I'm not going into the details of southern Iowa will see this much rain on Thursday. It's just kind of telling you where the chances are for this. And notice you'll see a pretty clear pattern that it starts focusing the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, some rain. We do see a more organized low pressure. See, we have more confidence in a system like this because broad rain will definitely bring some showers for these locations. I could say that with confidence. Intensity of it and the exact timing, well, that starts getting a bit iffy. But notice by Saturday, pretty wet for a lot of the kind of Wisconsin, the UP area into southern Canada. It shifts in, it starts getting weaker, right? But we see another reinvigoration of another system, bringing more showers across very, very similar areas: Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska. Again, there could be a few, cells that even go into Kansas at this time that the European model isn't picking up on. There could be some that go into Missouri a bit more vigorously. A lot of things, again, kind of being probably underdone or overdone. But again, you could see the trend. Just these little systems, they may seem little in terms of their millibar pressure, but again, on the radar, they're pretty significant. They're rather large, and again, you could see this last one actually turns into a pretty nice sized system and has a pretty strong cold front. And look at that right there across the tropics. We have a 997 millibar low pressure. Again, this is the European, so it's a good model. However, these tropical systems are rather unpredictable predictable this far out. It has been a trend, so it's definitely something we have to watch for. You know, a system in the Gulf at this time frame, whether or not it makes landfall is the first question. Whether or not it forms really is the first question. Where it makes landfall, is it the U.S., is it Mexico, and how strong will it be? All of those things are yet to be answered, and again, it's only if it comes to fruition. But notice further up to the north, while that system is occurring, we see a low pressure beginning to deliver more showers and storms across the Dakotas and southern Canada, across very similar areas, and this is where it stops. Notice it kind of stalls that system out across Texas, which really wouldn't be good. That could bring a bit too much rainfall. But again, let's ignore this for now because that is obviously eye-catching and would be pretty bad. But where we have more confidence is up here. Notice the plains, right? Decent amounts. I know a lot of these folks have seen already decent rains. You will continue to. Notice the European doesn't show a lot for Illinois, say. Again, it could easily be said that, you know, there could be 2 to 3 inches across this area in the next week and a half. Or there could be nothing, and it really doesn't take a lot to create that change, even though obviously, you know, a few tenths to a few inches is a lot of change for us humans that are impacted by this and animals, right? So Mother Nature, little impacts for her, little changes for her make big impacts for us. Southern Canada, you could see also decent amounts of rain, and this is a good area, you know, kind of a good graph to look at because it shows us where the pattern will be active, right? Where it will be wetter. Again, don't pay attention to details, don't dwell on that. Just you know, see that the southeast, for example, not as wet as it has been, and that's good. You know, portions of Tennessee, if you recall a couple days I showed you that some of those areas got 19 inches of rain. That caused catastrophic damage. It was truly bad. So notice that there is some rain possible, obviously not really likely to that proportion, but notice that, right? New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado seeing some rain, but not a lot. You could see the European model advertises that for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, there's no rain. Again, there could be a few spots that pick up a bit of rain, but you get the gist. It's gonna be on the drier side, even if anything does come to fruition. So yeah, the northern plains, the southern Canada area, definitely getting the beneficial rainfall. The southwest, the central United States, definitely staying a bit drier. GFS, actually Canadian model through that same time frame. There are differences. Notice it shows a very active tropics, but it almost plays along that border. Mexico sees a lot of rain. Texas, not so much. Again, that's already a big difference. But notice where the models do agree, right? Drier towards the southwest, not as much as we've been seeing. Still decent rains. A bit drier again for the states here, but the Canadian paints a bit more for Nevada and California, whereas the European did not do that. Southern Canada sees quite a bit. The northern plains see it quite a bit. It's a bit more centered across Minnesota, though, and again, that's another disagreement with pretty large amounts of rain there. It shows more for Missouri, more for Kentucky, a bit less for Tennessee, really similar actually for the southeast, and it shows really some decent similarities along the northeast as well with that with the GFS model I just showed you. Let's take a look at its precipitation forecast, right, or its simulated kind of radar, which I showed you with the GFS, and let's see where they agree and disagree on that. Notice there's our big system, if you will, just a conglomerate of moisture, but pretty much as big as they can get for this time of the year. Last week was a rather extreme example with that defined circulation as it passed through the Dakotas. But yeah, notice even when that one pulls away into the northeast and southern Canada, we see on Thursday another storm. And again, especially this model focuses the Minnesota. Whether or not that will happen, we'll have to see. Just in general, this area seems to be rather wet and prepare for some rainfall, to say the least. Then again, it does favor that last system that the European showed. It shows it the strongest, right? The European out of all the systems, and so does the European. Actually develops a pretty large system out of this, and that tropical storm that the European showed, the Canadian does show. It's way further to the south. It's very big. It's expansive. If you recall, Tropical Storm Henry, it was small. This one could be a large system, and its moisture, regardless of where it lands, kind of impacts the U.S. and gets potentially helps systems like this one right here get a bit more stronger, get a bit more quicker, and it fuels it up. But notice that rain, that moisture eventually works its way into the southwest potentially. So that actually may be a good thing. Hopefully, no, you don't get 14 inches in California, but definitely some of that rain could be beneficial, to say the least. Okay, let's take a look at the GFS. The GFS model I haven't shown you yet. I think I mentioned it already in this video, and that might have been a mix-up. So I feel like I've said the word GFS in this video. But I haven't showed you this model. Again, let's take a look for patterns. So notice it does favor some rain today for the Midwest and into Iowa, Wisconsin. The European model, it really doesn't do that. But look, the storm systems are rather similar. Across southern Canada, we see a wave. Into Thursday, Friday, more showers, storms. Again, some severe weather is possible, if not likely out of that. Mainly damaging winds and some hail, especially as soon as thunderstorms form, and later on they kind of transition into a damaging wind event. Notice into the weekend, during the days and evening hours, lots of activity. During the night and early mornings, it kind of dies down. And then late afternoon, early evening and night time hours. Notice another, look at there, across the Dakotas, another rain event. You can see it develops into that pretty strong system that the European and and Canadian do as well. So there's agreement on that. Keeps it definitely busy. Develops a very strong cold front with this. The GFS doesn't show a system, a tropical storm hitting the U.S. Agrees with the Canadian more. It hits it into Mexico, but a lot of that moisture works its way up and affects Texas and the south. It merges with this cold front. You can see right there drawn by this large system here, and that obviously does deliver rain for the south and the northeast, but potentially combines with that moisture from the south. We'll have to see. If for example this storm combines with this cold front as this hurricane rides to the north, there could be a large severe weather outbreak for the south during kind of a scenario that what the European showed. Again, the Canadian GFS show this storm a bit too far to the south to interact with those systems significantly. But notice, as soon as that may seem like it's done, the southwest, look at that moisture across Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, it explodes again. The northern plains see another dose of rain, and I do want to say that this is the one model that goes out beyond 240 hours, so you can see it shows another system impacting the southeast, which with a lot of more moisture working its way up, and any system that's at this level could definitely pick that up and transport it towards the east, the Midwest, maybe the north, right? Even potentially some of towards the north and west, towards the southwest, with some of those systems further across Mexico. And just to show you at this point, again, the confidence is lower in these systems, but you can see it shows a active southeast, a lot of rain potentially for the southwestern Canada, maybe even the northwestern U.S. And notice again that snow continues to expand. Last week, I think even it was for the first time we saw blue colors here. Now they're expanding all the way into Montana. So again, that's going to be the trend: more snow, more frost, and you can see in terms of precip, more rain for the the northern plains, southwestern Canada, and southern Canada seeing quite a bit. Southeast, especially areas right by the tropics, seeing quite a bit of rain. Definitely some concerning rain. Again, drying out for areas like Washington. It does bring a bit more into Seattle, the GFS, compared to the European and Canadian. But overall, again, kind of the northern plains seeing that active weather pattern. So again, it will be active. Several large storm systems. We'll just have to keep an eye on this. And just to show you how active a pattern could be in the next 60 hours and how many areas there are to watch. So this is what's going on right now. Actually, this is a bit old, but we are at 6 o'clock right now, and look, so it's again not really doing the best job because there aren't really as many cells as it's showing here across Iowa right now if you were to look at the radar. But this is what it shows. Look at the northeast, the south, the Midwest. There's so many areas to track, so many little showers. And again, look at that, into Illinois it shows some rain, to Indiana, Michigan, potentially one after the other right there in Illinois. The southeast, Florida, see some. Northeast kind of dries up. Look at southern Canada. And the Minnesota area starts seeing quite a bit of storms firing. This is now into throughout the day tomorrow, and into Wednesday you see a little line of storms blow through Wisconsin, potentially go through Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, Ohio. The southeast continued little daytime showers that look small, but under any one of these bright red cells you could get a torrential downpour. Same thing across Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado. Quite a bit of activity starting to fire up. Obviously, the rain wouldn't be as impressive for the next 60 hours as it would be for the next 240, but where it does fall across some of these areas, it can fall rather heavily. I mean, you can see there's certain counties that are under 2.5 inches. Trying to time this out is very hard, and if you take a look at the NAM 3KM, it shows completely different areas seeing rain. It does show the similar kind of, similar structures to that rainfall, but it's just different areas. And the NAM 12KM, even different, right? And it goes out to 84 hours. So you can see it's a similar area, but again, that's the Midwest. That's a giant area. Exactly which neighborhood we'll see it is tough to tell. But an active pattern, folks. Again, a lot of stuff to watch, from the tropics to the seasons changing, the snow, the frost, and to just continued rain, and avoiding flooding obviously is kind of the main concern with that. But for now, that's basically going to cover it. I could show you the temperatures. Actually, I did want to show you that. Let's take a look at the GEFS. So these are a bunch of ensembles. I just want to tell you right off the bat, it will be more towards a warm side rather than a cool side. Again, going with that trend that I mentioned, that the fall will rather be much more confident in it being warm than cold. The winter, again, probably more chillier, but the fall rather warm. And notice that cool area that we did have across southern Canada gets replaced, and we start seeing more heat coming. Potentially, there are some signs of some cooler waves across the Great Lakes, especially if we see a large, strong system develop, and that kind of taps into that reservoir from Canada with that cool air. But you could see the Europeans show very similar things. Maybe once in a while a bit of cool air, but that's quickly followed by much warmer air. If it is chilly, it might actually be across southwestern Canada and the northwest, where it's actually been very hot. So that would be nice. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya, guys. Bye.